Hello YouTube, Pastor Jack here and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be looking further into the story of the woman at the well and the Samaritan woman that was Jesus come upon at Jacob's well. And let's read a few verses of scripture. John's Gospel, the fourth chapter, verses 6 through 8. Jacob's well was there. So Jesus, wearied as he was from his journey, was sitting beside the well. It was about the 6th hour. A woman from Samaria came to draw water. Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink," for his disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. Okay, as we see here in these verses, Jesus had stopped at the well to rest. Disciples went on into town to buy some food. And as he sat there, this lone lady come to draw water. Getting the water was generally a task that women handled, and most of them did it in the morning, in the early hours, or at night after it had started to cool off. No one come to the well during the day to draw water for their family in the heat of the day. That it just wasn't done. And this lady shows up by herself to draw water for her family for that day, and it was a sign of shame. She didn't want to be around the other women. She didn't want to listen to what they had to say. She didn't want to give them opportunities to mistreat her or to say negative things to her. So she come in the middle of the day. She was feeling shame, and as we look at these verses, we're gonna see why just a little later in the verses. But the fact that she was feeling shame is what he's trying to tell us here. The fact that she was trying to draw water and it was the 6th hour. It was the heat of the day. There's nothing wrong with some shame. As I look at the world today and I think about people, we just had Pride Month. The fact that people show no shame at all. That's pretty sad. The fact that school teachers in some places are hiding things from the parents that they're talking to their kids about. There was a day when I went to school that would be shameful. No teacher would be having conversations with kids about sexual matters and I have the parent there. Matter of fact, they wouldn't do it with a parent there. That was a shameful act. If anybody did that, they put people in jail for that when I was small. But today, there's no shame. There's no shame in open sin in your life. Just people that me and my wife know that are living together, not married. And there's no shame in that. The Bible talks about in Timothy. Let's go ahead and look at that verse for just a minute. All right, 1 Timothy 4, 1 through 3. Now the Spirit expressly says that in latter times some will depart from the faith by devoting themselves to deceitful spirits and teachings of demons, through the insincerity of liars, whose conscience are seared, who forbid marriage and require abstinence from foods that God created to be received with thanksgiving by those who believe and know the truth. Insincerity of liars, whose conscience are seared. Wow. That verse talks about today on a lot of levels. Those verses do. The insincerity of liars whose consciences are seared. I'm not saying that this is a day without shame, because I know I know sinners who are ashamed. I know of people who are not living for God that are ashamed of the life that they're living. And in those people, I would say there's still hope. But when someone sins in any fashion, and I'm not just talking about one or two kinds of sin here, I'm talking about whatever sin they're committing, and they can sin in any fashion and feel no regret, feel no remorse. Their conscience is seared, the Bible says. They get to the place that there's not much hope for them. I'm not saying there's no hope. As long as there's breath, there's hope. But in the world we live in today, we come in contact with people and we can't understand why they can't hear. But the fact of the matter is they are seared to the place that there is no more shame. And when there's no more shame, that dwindles our hope that they'll ever make things right with God. We need to learn from this story and know that as long as there's some shame, then there's hope. And we should do everything we can to act like Jesus and show the gospel to people who are ashamed of the life that they're living. God bless you. Keep the first things first, and I'll see you on the next video.